Hey there everybody, it's Michelle and I finished another mini album. This one's a big one. I kind of got tired of working with the pastels and I switched back over to the darks and the vintage. And let me show you the paper I use. This is an old collection from Hobby Lobby and I actually used two different packs on this, but they coordinate. Let me show you. The thicker cardstock one, which Hobby Lobby still carries this, because I was there the other day, is the Haberdashery. And I shouldn't even tell you this, because I love every collection that I create with, or I wouldn't create with it. But so that's that. I still have a lot left. And I keep all my scraps, because I can make cards or something. And then the coordinating one, which this is real thin, but it's one of those big jumbo ones. It's this Keller Cuts, which has the same, some of the same prints in there, only it's more in color, and it's the thin papers. But yeah, some of the prints coordinate, and I use it all. That's really cool. Cool collection. So anyways, those are at Hobby Lobby. I don't think they, at least mine doesn't have this one anymore, but they still had that one. And I had probably bought this, excuse me, collection a couple years ago. But anyways, this one measures 8 by 8, the cover, 3.5 inch spine. I put charms on the outside of this, on the spine with some lace trim. I finally used these little jewel pieces that I picked up at Michael's long time ago. I think this was from Crafty City, our China store, long time ago. And there's some thimbles and just beads and some trim that I stuck on there. That's the back, and this is kind of embossed. So it has 4 pages, meaning pages, but 8 altogether, and then I actually utilized the cover. The closure I did on this one, I just used my jewelry. I was going to put all the charms hanging from here, and then I decided to put them here, but I still liked the chain closure. And there's plenty of room for it to grow when you put your photos in, and it unhooks very easily. You just push this little button right here, and it unhooks. So anyways, I'll leave that unhooked. And on the cover, I used my favorite frame that I probably use in all my minis. My Tim Holtz frame. These are those wood pieces that I just got at Michael's last week. I showed you a haul. They were plain. These. And I stained them with, I just daubed them with my Tim Holtz Distress Stain. Right there, took 5 seconds. And they came out beautiful. These were cutouts from this collection, and I don't remember where I got this wood piece from, but I distressed it with the dye. I made a little stick pin that sticks in my twine. I wrapped twine around it. I couldn't find flowers that I wanted to go on top of this, so I ended up using the collection, and I used my MFT flower dye, so I just made my own with the coordinating paper. And then I had this bobbin, and I wrapped it with twine and stuck it in there. So yeah, there's the outside. And now I'll take you on the inside. I did a couple different things in this one. So here's the cover page, and I cut out from the paper that lady, and I popped her up so you could slide this in like that. And this is just a little photo booklet. Put some photos there. And it slides right back in there like that. I didn't put anything in the center. I kind of didn't look right with it, so the pages measure 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and the photo mats are various sizes. Here's where this is a little, I glued the frames on here. These are not the slide-in kind, but I did overlap them. Let me find a piece of scrap paper right here. So you can still make your photo there, and that one will overlap it a little bit, but you can cut the square out and place your photos right on there. And then, of course, this opens up, and you could, let me back out a little bit. Okay, so this will open like this, and I actually was watching one of my projects that I made a while ago, and I liked this. I had did this in another mini album and I liked it, so I snagged it from my own projects. And then I just did these photo mats on each thing. This is more of a lot of photo mats. This paper was the thin paper, so I did double back it. And then that. Some of them have front and back, some don't. Depends how thick they were. And then those photo mats fit in there. And then the center I did, where you could just put a photo or journal with a white pen if you choose. And then there's a bigger photo mat. And then of course on this end pocket, and we have that. And that slides in there, and then this folds back up. Again, I used one of my homemade paper flowers from this collection. Every page has a pull out, and on this pull out I did it where I put the frame on top so you could just slide your pictures in on both of them. That way they won't get distorted. And I used this trim that I picked up from Michael's on the clearance. I just thought it gave it good texture, fiber, whatever. So yeah, all the mats I'll show you. Then this page flips like this, and this was an accident. I actually glued this down and forgot to put my decorative paper down, and I'm like, oh, it actually kind of looks nice. It makes this stand out more. So I left it plain. And then that opens up with a magnet for photos. This will tuck. What did I do with that piece of paper? Anyways, this is left unglued right here, so when you put your photo you could slide it under there and that'll overlap it. Then that's glued down, but then this lifts up and then it will reveal this pocket, and I put a little mini photo book in here, just a little one. And then here's a mat and that paper. I use some more of that trim. And then this, I couldn't get the magnets on here because, well, it doesn't matter. But anyways, I used this, I used one of these charms and I put a brad in it and it turns, so that holds that down. And I turn it more and then this will open up like that to reveal some pictures. You could put pictures here, you could leave it blank, just use your pictures here, whatever you would like. And then that folds back up, and you kind of have to give it a little lift there to go over it. And then that's just from the Tim Holtz die, the old dress form die that has the buttons in that, and I just wrapped some twine around it. So that closes up like that, and then we'll go on to this page. I love doing these pockets, and this time I thought I gotta change them up a little bit because I can't always do the same thing. So what I did on this is I created this, but I only did it half of the page, and then I didn't glue it all the way down so I could put a pocket. So that opens like that. I decorated with some paper doilies and stuff. I just tore paper to make a pocket. I just ripped it and glued it down, and then there's a tag in there. Then that closes like that. It's magnetized. I used one of the tassels, and then these are the photo mats that I put there. And then that's a pocket to hold your pictures there. And then there's the pull out on that. The backs I just left with paper. You can either journal or put a photo if you want. And then that's on there. And these again slide the same way. And they fit nicely. They come out very easily. Then there's this page. I duplicated that same pocket again. I used the buttons to make a closure on this and the twine. And I glued a little scissor charm. Or didn't glue it, I attached it. So there's a little scissor charm, and then this opens like this. Lift up that way and that way. And again, I just tore the paper to make this little pocket. Oh, a little sticky because it's humid here, so. And there you go. Then there's that little frame there. And then that will close back up, and you can twist this back around. And figure 8. Isn't that paper so pretty? And then I just made 2 tags in this pocket. Put photos. Put some little eyelash trim. And they fit really nice in there. And then this page opens to this. I actually tore paper again. I didn't use a die, I just ripped it. And there's this tag. Which it goes in there. I cut out some words. You could still put a photo here. And put that on top for journaling, however you want. Then that closes. This was magnetized, but my buttons popped it up, so it's not catching it. But it's still good. And then this page, I did this tag, which came on charm pieces from Michael's a long time ago, and I just attached it. It's like a measuring, I don't know what you call it, tape measure. So that tucks behind this. I left this open, but this opens up like this to reveal pictures like that. And then this is attached, but I left it open so you could tuck tags and photos under there too. Then this page I kept very plain. I used these buttons. I used these buttons I got from Michael's in the $1.50 bin to put some twine on there and use that for how that opens up. And then I just kept these very plain and simple with the paper. Look how beautiful that paper is. Yeah, so you can do what you want here. And that is a magnet that pulls out this way, that way, tucks back in there. Then this is just a big double pocket page. I had some appliques. I made these a pocket. I love the paper. And I just made a little photo book. I used the Michael's tassels. You can put pictures in there. Pictures on the back, and this tucks right back in here. Put some flowers. I put the appliques on top. I still got glue. And then this little booklet pulls out. Look at that. And then that tucks back in there. And again, this pulls out. And goes right back in there. And then we have another plain page where I glued the button and the tassel on that one, and I used some you know what that is, burlap trim, I guess. I love these little chairs, and I left this pretty plain except for on the last page because I didn't want you to cover up the paper underneath. Is that chair paper, and I didn't want to cover it up with photos, so I fussy cut one out because there's like 3 papers of the same paper, and then I just glued half of it so you could stick the tag, and I made a tag with a little tassel or a photo mat, whatever you want, and then that slides under there for your chair. Look how gorgeous. And then that's magnetized. And then the back cover, I made a tag. I glued this down but didn't glue the top, so I used the tag. I made the tag. Those are the Heartfelt Creation toppers. And it slides right behind there. And then this opens up with a magnet to place 2 photos in there. Closes like that. And that is it. So yep, there is this book. I'm in love with it, but I am going to try to sell it, and if I don't sell it, I will be really happy to keep this one for myself because I really like the way this came out. So there it is. If you're interested in this, it will be in my Etsy shop. And I actually, if you haven't been to my Etsy in a while, or if you have been and didn't see anything you like, today I am going to be, I have quite a few items that I hadn't put in there that I forgot that I had, that I'm going to be putting in there. Some Christmas albums, some two other, I got about 4 or 5 that are going to go in there today. I don't know if I'll do a video on them or not, or just put them in there. But, alright, so the link to the Etsy shop or to this particular item will be in the description box. If you click on that, it'll take you over there. And I hope you are inspired by this, and you have a great day. I'll be back with some more videos another time. Talk to you later. Bye.